Hey Tivies, it's Psychic Bob. Well, I'm here, still alive and kicking, and coming to you today. Got to say thank you to all of you for your kind letters. So many of you were freaking out yesterday. Said, Psychic Bob, where were you? You didn't put out a video. Where are you? What's going on? Well, the heat in Washington, D.C. is oppressive, crazy hot. Yesterday I went out in the heat again, because Psychic Bob, he can't ever just sit home and just stare at the walls. And I went out running around doing errands, got a little overheated. Whew, I'm okay, but I didn't feel so good, and I took a break from doing a video yesterday. Not to worry, I'm fine, rehydrated, cooled down, everything's good. And you know me, I can't stay away from you guys for long. Anyway, so glad you're here. And today is Saturday. And that means we're going to do our mystical spiritualist class seance and do our seance. But before we get into that, I want to show you something that I found today. I have so much jewelry. I love jewelry, but I have it all scattered around my house. And I found a pendant I thought I lost. Check this out. This is my evil eye pendant. Isn't that cool? Look and see the sparkling crystals in the eye. The eye, it's my third eye. Anyways, I just found it. I'm so happy, so I've been wearing it today. We're going to talk about the power, the mystery of the evil eye and how it's really not evil on Wednesday. So be back here on Wednesday, on Wicked Wednesday. We're going to talk about this. So, we'll get into that then. But, also I want to remind you that today is the last day that you can get this artwork, Orange Entanglements. So if you like Psychic Bob's artwork, you can get this over at my website, PsychicBob.com. Get it today. By tomorrow, it's going to be gone. And we'll have a new artwork up. Every week, I'm releasing a new drawing or painting that I have done. And we're going to have another one come up on Sunday. So this is the last full day that you will get Orange Entanglements. And the art that I'm releasing, I'm trying to put out stuff that is modern and interesting. A lot of you said how much you enjoy my artwork, so I'm releasing it to you for no charge. So get it. Now, as I said, it's limited edition. And so all my pieces will be signed, and you'll have a limited edition Psychic Bob print. After today, this will not be available. I may re-release it in the future, but I'll probably charge for it. So get it while you can. Anyways, I've so enjoyed doing artwork and sharing it with you guys. A lot of you have said how much it's helped you and uplifted you, and you've decorated your home with my various paintings and drawings. And I'm so honored by that. And, even if you don't like it, you might have a friend that's into modern art. So maybe you want to get a copy of this, and you could put it in a frame. This is just a standard 8x10 frame that I bought. I think I actually bought this at the dollar store, this frame. So you see how nice that looks? And this would be a great housewarming gift, or just a birthday gift, or just as something to tell somebody you thought of them today. So anyways, get this today, Orange Entanglements. It's the last day it will be available. Well, we're going to start back here. We're working on Sylvia Browne's book, Mystical Traveler. And a lot of you have been writing saying how much you enjoy studying this book. And we're going to continue on. We're today on page 62. And we're in chapter 4, the last section on chapter 4, page 62, Dharma and Karma. There it is, Dharma and Karma. So let's jump right in and see what Sylvia has to say. And I'm going to share my thoughts also. All right. Dharma versus Karma. Sylvia writes, there's often a great deal of confusion over the difference between karma and dharma. Karma, with a K, is experiencing for God, and a small part of it is the belief that what goes around comes around. In other words, if you create havoc or pain in someone's life with the real purpose and motive to do so, it will come back to you. However, if you inadvertently hurt another, there will be no retribution. So let's pause right there, because so many people write to me and they say, Psychic Bob, I upset my family member. I accidentally said the wrong word. and now they won't talk to me. It's been 2 years. They won't forgive me. Am I going to have to deal with this karmic? Is the rest of my life going to be ruined? No. What Sylvia is talking about here is if you have injured somebody without intent, you had no conscious intent to do it, you're not going to pay a karmic debt. But we know plenty of people who go around purposely meddling in people's lives and creating drama. Those are the people that are going to pay. But listen, don't hold on to guilt. If you did something inadvertently, upset somebody, hurt them in some way, make the amends you best you can. And if they don't forgive you, that's not on you. You've done your part, okay? Let's go on and see what else she says. She says, unlike what some people think, karma ends with each life. While we can carry over the cell memory of hurts and phobias and traumas from one life to another, we don't bring along karmic retribution. Where many get confused is when a soul doesn't accomplish all that it wanted to in life, so it chooses another existence that's similar in order to complete its education. This is not karmic in nature. It's just finishing up the experience or lesson that the soul wanted to learn in the first place. Now I want to pause there just for a second because I agree with Sylvia on this. A lot of people call me in my private readings. They say, Bob, I've had a really rough life. Am I paying for something from a past life? And I say no. And it's very interesting. Sometimes people, they struggle, like, for example, poverty. A lot of us have money problems in this life. And it's not a punishment because we were evil with money in the last life. But what it is that on some level we're trying to understand, how we're strengthening our souls. So we build in challenges to do that. So poverty or illness or things like this are not karmic retribution. They are challenges that we take on to grow our souls, okay? So don't ever look at people and say, well, they're poor, they deserve it, they must have done something bad. No, we don't sit in judgment like that. Help, what was it, Satya Sai Baba used to say, hurt never, help ever. So you should always be helping people, not judging them or hurting them. Okay. Dharma, okay, here's Dharma. Dharma, on the other hand, is more the taking on of responsibility for your life and chart, and doing so with good conduct and virtue. Mystical travelers have a lot of Dharma, but their charts don't get negated. Instead, they become more accented. The highs are higher and the lows are lower. So let's pause there for a second. See, Dharma is your mission, your goals. That's like your life theme, okay, what you're here to do. And like Sylvia says, when you take on the mantle of a mystical traveler, you don't suddenly trash everything you came here for. You just take on a sharper focus on it, okay? Good point, Sylvia. I agree with everything she says. A few aspects of Dharma that you might take on as a mystical traveler are, one, being a great parent who helps other boys and girls and or families, caring for the elderly or young people, becoming a mother or father to foster children, bringing harmony into your family, unless the family is dark entities, writing spiritual works, being a priest or nun-like entity who gives blessings and praise for people, teaching, preaching, or being a confidant to another, providing comfort to all those who come to you, as well as to yourself, servicing humankind in any way, be it on a large or small scale, being a giver of life, that is, one who brings others hope and help and truth. You may say, well, I've done all of this, and most people have, but it's not as simplistic as it sounds. You must go beyond parenting your own child to get out in the community and reach other souls. In this way, you'll bring them knowledge of the love of our wonderful creators, just as Jesus did. Okay, I want to stop there. I think that's really important because, oops, I just dropped my bookmark. There are a lot of ways to be, start that journey of Dharma. And as a mystical traveler, you'll be called to some of this, When I became a mystical traveler, like I didn't become a mystical traveler till I was 40. The first thing I started doing was writing books. Now, isn't that interesting? I've always enjoyed writing, but I really got serious. Like I had this message to share. And it says here that you can write spiritual works as part of your Dharma. And I've done this. Many of you know I have a number of books out. Here's one of them. Psychic Bob's Book of Wiccan Wisdom. I'm trying to find the others here. Hold on. I got so much stuff here. Messages from Rose. All of these are books that I've published. So that's some of my Dharma there. Okay. Another thing it talks about is teaching, preaching, or being a confidant to another. So many of you have written to me or called me and told me in your readings that, you said, I've really taken under my wing, or this person's taken me under their wing, and they share all their secrets with me, and they know they can trust me. So that's a spiritual work of being a confidant, somebody that can give advice and be present and help people, Teaching and preaching. So many of you here at YouTube do that. You put out videos, you teach spiritual concepts, you preach about spiritual truths. I think that's wonderful. We all need to be working on some type of Dharma. These are just some of them. There are countless ways to practice Dharma. Sylvia's only listed a few here, but I like them. And like she says, if you really want to perfect it, take it out to the larger community. When I was a young psychic, I used to get psychic messages for myself. And I thought, oh, that's good. I'd tell my mom, and she'd say, okay. But, when I stepped into being a mystical traveler, I said, I have to get out of myself and do this for the larger world. And when I was in the Spiritualist church and I was studying spiritualism and getting my mediumship licenses, I was quite content just to do readings in class. And my teacher said to me, now, Bob, you got to go out into the world and take this. And I thought, what? No, I'm okay. I can just read for 2 or 3 people a week. That's all I need. And she said, no, sitting in class is only preparing you to go out there. And I tell you, that was a scary thought. I thought, Well, in time, I ended up venturing into the public life, and that's a whole nother story. But here I am today, and it's my Dharma to come here and to teach and to preach. And I know sometimes I get on my soapbox about things, but you know what? I feel really passionately about what I do. I love being a psychic. I love being a medium. And I love sharing that reality with all of you. So, I'm working on my Dharma. Think about your Dharma. What's your Dharma? I bet you've got some Dharma there somewhere. I know some of you out there have been thinking you want to write a book. Some of you have written to me and said, Psychic Bob, should I write a book? I think if you're getting an inkling you should write a book, you should. Somebody says, Psychic Bob, I want to do spiritual work. Should I do that? Well, if Spirit's calling you, you better listen and maybe answer that. But even if you don't want to be a psychic or a book writer, there are so many ways. Like Sylvia said, maybe your Dharma is to visit the elderly. Maybe you've got people in your neighborhood. I know all of us have at least one elderly person somewhere in our neighborhood. I can think of 5 in my own condo building right off the top of my head. Maybe you could just visit them each week and watch TV with them or read to them or ask them to tell you their life story. Visiting the elderly is a great form of Dharma. And as when my mother was in the nursing home last year, recuperating from her surgery, I saw a lot of people and there had nobody to visit them. And I would go and talk to them and sit with them. Beautiful souls, but it broke my heart to see them all abandoned. And some of them even had family. They said, oh, I have 5 kids, but they don't come see me. And I said, oh, they must live far away, And they said, no, they live a block from the nursing home. Made me very sad. So let's all find what our Dharma is, because when we do our Dharma, we're growing ourselves for God, and we're bringing light to this world. And for those of you who are mystical travelers, I think most of you will find your Dharma and you will excel at it. Anyways, enough of my preaching today. We're going to have a seance. For those of you who are new here, this is follows our class each Saturday. And what it is I'm a trance medium. That's spelled Trance. See, is it that way? CE. Not trans. I know transgender people. And somebody wrote and they said, Bob, I had no idea you were a transgender. I said, no, I'm not transgendered. I was born a male. I'm currently a male. I plan on staying a male. But I am a trance medium. That's Trance. Trance. That means I set aside my consciousness. I go into a trance state, and spirit entities speak through me. And it's an amazing experience because I feel their power come through, and I don't always know what they're saying. I don't always hear it because I'm detached from it. It's kind of like I'm half asleep, but I hear a little bit. But we'll see what they have for us. So let's hope they come. I can never make anybody show up. I just open up the channel. Hopefully they come through. So I'm going to take down our lights here and get set up. I'll be with you in just a minute. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Just stay there. All right, I brought down our lights. When I do channeling, I like a softer light environment. That's just me. Some mediums work in full light, some prefer darkness. I like a soft light when I do trance work. So, as you're here in my home virtually, if you were actually physically here, I'd have you pull your chairs up and we'd have a little circle here. So, pull up to your computer and know that virtually you're joining our seance circle tonight. I'm going to settle down and go into trance, so I'll see you when I get back. Oh, there we go. Looks like we're in the body. Oh, it's so good to be back with all of you. This is Fletcher. We're so happy to see you out there. All your souls be shining and lots of soul glow here. Well, I've got to tell each of you, remember that if you're here today and you're saying, oh, how did I end up at this place? Well, it's because those of us in the spirit world, we've been calling you. And so we're glad you heard our call. And if you be hearing our call and you show up here at this seance, it means, well, you got a little bit of psychic energy going on for yourself. So just be listening to the spirit world. We'll be sure to be helping you. Well, I got a few people here, some old knockabouts who want to be shouting out at you. So I'll be stepping from the medium's body. This is Fletcher. Over and out. I do believe we have control of the body. I do hope that all of you can hear me. When we from the spirit world enter into your realm, we must adjust the frequency so that our voices are audible in the earth plane. This is why we use the medium's body to come and speak to you, is that if we were to try to manifest our voices outside of the medium's body, it would be most difficult, for the vibrations are very difficult to stabilize in the material world. And so by using a medium's body, it allows us to come through in a way that is of less strain to all involved. When I was a young man, I used to attend spiritual seances, and I used to be always amazed at the things that would come through the mediums. As they would sit in the circle, I would hear them breathing heavily as they would go into trance, and in voices such as you're hearing now would come from them. At first I thought, is this real? Could it truly be happening? But in time my answers were met with, well, resolution, I should say. My questions were met with answers that were resolute to me. During one seance, I heard my own grandfather's voice come through. It was clearly him. I could hear him, his dictation, his pronunciation, his vibration was all clear. He spoke to me as if we'd only spoken just yesterday, and he'd been dead for a few years at that point. And after the seance, I asked the medium, I said, how could it be that my father came through? The medium said, well, the channel is open. Anybody can come through. Anybody that's of a high vibration. He said, I take it that your grandfather was quite a good man. I said, yes, my grandfather was quite a good man. He said, well, there you go. That's why he could come through. He was of the right frequency. Know that everything that you do in this life is a vibration that will accelerate you closer to the highest realms of infinite intelligence, which will propel you backwards towards infinite ignorance. What is the opposite of intelligence? It is ignorance. And therefore, we have infinite intelligence, and we also have the opposite, infinite ignorance. We do not wish to be of that group. Those who reside in infinite ignorance are the low lives, those who hold hatred in their souls, those who are the treacherous ones, murderers, liars, slanderers. There is an eternal life, and you will attain in the spirit world the frequency that you resonate best to. Some will say, well, certainly a chap like Hitler went to hell. And from the spiritualist perspective, we'd say, yes, that's true, that's accurate. But we also like to point out that in the spirit world, there is always the opportunity for growth. You do not have to stay in the lower light. You are given many opportunities here to progress, to advance your soul, to become closer to infinite intelligence. Infinite intelligence is a term that we use here. It means God, or the divine power, the source of all that is. Every human soul, every animal soul, every being in the cosmos is a child of infinite intelligence. All beings have their connection in the very mind and concept of God. The Great Spirit many people call God, and this would be an appropriate term. God is beyond human limitations. It is true that his intelligence is beyond the human mind. And we seek to grow to be more like it. Each soul is given the promise by infinite intelligence that it has within it its own divine spark, that it can share in the infinite knowledge, infinite wisdom and compassion, the infinite love that grounds the entire universe. The entire universe is grounded in love. There is a saying that I've heard said in many churches, God is love, and love is God. This is actually very true. It seems rather trite at times and simplistic, but it is a truth that you must come to understand. And if you explore that, you will find that within that simple saying, there is a vast and profound knowledge that awaits you. I suppose I could say to each of you today, how have you loved? How have you brought yourself in alignment with that infinite spark of divinity within you? Do you push that light away, seeking things that are, well, supposedly, suppose I would say, less than healthy for you? Are you addicted to things such as alcohol, drugs, cigarettes, gambling? Perhaps you have a sexual addiction. All of these addictions pull you away from the spark of infinite intelligence, that is your true self. And it is true that you come into the earth to learn, to be enlightened, to grow, to experience. We do not in the spirit world look upon you with judgment. For those of you who do have the addictive behaviors, know that we have great compassion for all of you. We also have great hope, for we know that you are not your addiction. And do not let that addiction define you as who you are. You are a child of the very spark of divinity. You are infinite intelligence in the flesh. And when you awaken to who you are, you will find strength in overcoming the physical limitations and temptations such as addiction. Remember that each day you'll get to make a choice. Will you move closer to the light, or will you move farther away from the light? It's your choice. Always free will is given to every soul by infinite intelligence. Fletcher's asking me to step from our medium's body. He says there are others who wish to speak. Thank you for receiving me today. You wish to call upon me. My name is Alfred. Oh, there we go. I believe we're in the Baltic. Oh, I do hope you can hear me out there. Greetings, my dears. My name is Rose. Oh, I tell you, I could sit and listen to Alfred preach all day. If only I had listened to such wise souls during my own lifetime. But you know, I got caught up in my own self-importance and forgot all of that. But I do hope that I'm making up for it now. Even in the spirit world, there are a variety of things that one does. Many people have the false concept that when you die, you either go into pitch black oblivion and forget everything, or that the other extreme is that you go sit on a cloud strumming a harp for eternity. I say neither sounds very good to me, and fortunately for me, and for you as well, the spirit world is not at all like what you've been hearing from these lecturers. The spirit world is a realm of vastness that you cannot comprehend. It is beyond your finite mind, and even with my spiritual senses now, it is even beyond me. Suffice it to say that there are spheres within spheres and planes of consciousness here, and that whatever you desire to learn is available to you. Many people come to the spirit world and are greatly thrilled to discover that they can have an education here. Some come from the earth and they regret their lack of education on the earth. A lady came a few weeks ago and she said, Rose, I was so poor in my life. I came from a little village in Nepal. We had no money and I could not go to school. And she said, now that I've come to the spirit world, everything is available. I can see the finest schools, the finest art, the finest culture. Everything is available. And I said, my dear, you're absolutely right. Let your mind take it all in. When you come to the spirit world, at first you may not understand everything, for it is a vast place, as I have said. You will go to various indoctrination centers, or not what's word. I don't say indoctrination, I'd say more like welcoming centers, that's the word, where you're slowly introduced, not indoctrinated, but introduced to the ideas of our world, how things operate here, how you will continue. Many souls arrive here thinking that they've died, or they're refusing to believe they've died, saying, I could not have died. I'm fully conscious. And we say, yes, you'll always be conscious, your eternal soul. See, there's a great mistake upon the earth today, that people believe that when you die, that's it, that your consciousness ceases. My dears, nothing could be further from the truth. Consciousness survives death. And this is the great mystery, the great truth, I should say, of spiritualism. You know, I have told you about my neighbor Madge. She was a great spiritualist in her day. And she used to tell me, she said, oh, Rose, spiritualism has brought so much comfort to my life. And I used to say, I don't believe any of that. I'm Church of England, dear. Thank you. No, thank you. And you'll see, I shut out learning. In the spirit world, one of the things that you will learn to adapt to being here is that your mind must be open to learning. Oh, it's not that we force you to learn anything, but you'll find that your time here will be much more pleasant should you be able to invest in learning. So, my dears, do not close your minds off. Be open to the reality that here there are great things to learn. If you've never had the chance to attend university, or perhaps your university career was cut short and you used to say, I would like to have a doctorate, and I never got beyond a bachelor's. Well, my dears, here it is available to you. You have wonderful classrooms, wonderful lecturers, wonderful student friends. This world is a world of learning. And as Alfred said earlier, God is infinite intelligence. And would not a being of infinite intelligence want his own children to share in that wonderful experience? Yes, my dears, God, infinite intelligence, however you wish to call the higher power, wants you to share in its joy in life. And so know that the spirit world would not be sitting on a cloud and playing a harp. Oh, I suppose there are some people here do it, but after probably a few days that gets boring, and they decide to come down off the cloud and get into life here. So we encourage you, start the process now. Start reading everything that you can. Learn what inspires you. Our medium here, we've been observing him as he's been working on his artworks. This is an inspiration that he's received from the spirit world. He has a great love of the beauty of art, and so we've encouraged him. We've been gently prompting him, create more. When he comes back to the spirit world someday, he will do art here. He has no idea how much more beautiful it will be over here and easier. But do not let any challenge such as talent or fear of lack of talent stop you, my dears. Begin to learn and know that in time you will improve, and all things come into balance. Fletcher's asked me to step from our medium's body. He says the power is waning now, so I don't wish to tax him. But I do ever so much thank all of you for allowing me to come here today. I do think the power is starting to fade, but remember always to call upon us. You can call and say, Rose, help me, and I will be there for you. Oh dear, the power's fading. I will talk to you again. Hey, TVs. Well, I'm back. I love to channel. I always come back from channeling feeling so energized, so uplifted, and so joyful. If you've enjoyed this program today, you've enjoyed our seance, you want to learn more about your spiritual life and my spiritual life, you might want to pick up my book, Messages from Rose. It talks about my spirit guide, Rose, how I met her, how we worked together, some adventures of my life. Definitely check that out. You might also want to get my other book, Ouija Mysteries, the Spirit Board Seances. That's also about my life, my early days as a medium. So there you go. Anyways, I hope this has been a help to you. And listen, tell me in the comment box below, do you enjoy these seances? Do you want me to keep doing them? I'd love to hear from you, what your thoughts are. And tell me, have you read any of my books? I'm curious in what you thought about those. Well, guys, listen, I'm going to wrap it up here. I got more readings to do. Psychic Bob works around the clock. But listen, if you want to get on my schedule for a private reading, I still have openings for this upcoming week. Give me a call at my office, 703-825-3929. That's my phone number, 703-825-3929. I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to write to me as well, write to me at my official email, PsychicBobHickman@gmail.com. All of those links will be below. Go to my website, also for my books, PsychicBob.com. That'll be below. You guys are best. I love you. We'll see you back here tomorrow on Sunday. Oh, what's tomorrow? Sunday. Oh, the witching hour. Oh, you don't want to miss it. Be here 8 p.m. Eastern for a live broadcast. We'll see you then. Love you guys. Blessed be.